Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Austrian campaign using the Imperial Splendour mod for Empire Total War. Now, since last time, or since last episode, a bunch of stuff happened. We of course captured Syria, which wasn't occupied by the enemy, and neither was Palestine. And that's sort of curious because I really thought, there was an army here at the last time we visited this region of the world, essentially in the last couple of minutes of the last episode that was featured. However, since then, there was a small army here, only a couple of units, so a majority of those forces that we saw there probably moved out. Maybe towards Baghdad or somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where they went. Maybe to fight this Palestinian rebel army. However, after being here for a little while, I moved on to Palestine, which gave up without fighting. And as we can see, the state that the the region is in is quite indicative that it wasn't doing all too well. In fact, I think I'll just decrease the taxes just so they have some sort of economic growth, because this is really not a very good situation for your province to be in. 3 coins, that's not exactly too good. Here we get 300 roughly. But still, it's very terrible, and we can see that even the Ottomans themselves weren't really keen on holding this region down for any sort of substantial while, I suppose, because they had terrible issues with happiness, which is quite strange, because this is like one of their core provinces. This is one of the provinces that they start with. So, it's strange, but what this means that, this only means that we're that much closer to actually taking them out. I'm slowly but surely building an army here to start their march on Armenia, or basically Armenia, Yerevan here. So I think we should take care of that, and yeah, that should be completely fine, I think. Anatolia is substantially Catholic right now, and they should be completely happy with me just taking this army out. Yes, they are. So that's completely fine. We should make it. Oh, we can't. Yeah, this is. Of course, we have to recruit the general. So to make a general there, move to Armenia, then to Mesopotamia. Mostly militia here, but I think they'll be able to handle the small armies that we'll probably face here, and I think that should be completely fine. Don't really think that should pose a problem. Here we see the Spanish Catholic missionary at work, already making quite a nice Catholic presence within Cairo, and that's Egypt itself, which is quite nice. Of course, in Empire Total War, the map itself doesn't really go very southwards in Africa as opposed to, for example, Untitled Chapter, where there's like 3 other regions here. So this should be completely okay. However, first things first, we should probably take care of this Palestinian rebel army. I think it should be completely easy victory. Very much destroyed that army before it did really anything substantial. That's quite nice. We also see an increase in Catholicism in Damascus. Very slowly but surely we'll manage to do something there. As you can see, however, there's a lot of Ottoman fleets still around, so I'm not comfortable with... they even have some 6th rates, some brigs. Of course, it's not a very good army, or not a good navy, I mean. But a bunch of 6th rates, a lot of 6th rates, and yeah, unless we would go on a big campaign of recruiting a whole bunch of naval forces right now, with 751 gold in the treasure, I don't think that's going to be extensively possible, or possible at all, indeed, in our current situation. So I think just taking them out and land basically is going to be good enough. After we take Cairo, I think we'll have to go towards the Barbary states, because while we are at peace with them, and that's all fine and dandy, they're essentially at war with everyone except for France, and that's about it, really. And they don't have any allies apart from the Ottoman Empire, who we are going to swiftly defeat here very shortly. So that's going to be quite okay, I think, in the upcoming turns. We can then move on to Morocco if it gets taken out by the Spanish armies, which it probably will. The Spanish do have some quite good forces here. They have some guarded elite infantry. They do have some light cavalry there, but militia cavalry in fact. However, I think the forces they have here will be enough to take out Morocco, and I do believe, yep, they're at war. So yeah, that should be okay. That should be quite easy. So just move through Northern Africa one by one, taking out these small cities, and then moving on to Morocco, taking that out, moving on to Gibraltar, Madrid, taking out finally the Spanish, and forming some sort of a Mare Nostrum out of the Mediterranean. So we're basically re-establishing some sort of a Roman Empire if it was a German one. That's quite strange, but that's exactly what we're doing. At some point we will probably want to take out Genoa, just because they have a lot of elite infantry though. So that's maybe going to be a problem, but I do think we will be fine. However, they did build a port here, so we're gonna see about that. So I don't know, not entirely sure what we're gonna do with the Genoans yet, but they're quite friendly or indifferent to us, but they are allied with Spain, so I don't know, we'll just have to see how they, they're sort of a wild card in all of this, so it's going to be quite interesting. But this army can slowly start going towards Armenia. Next turn we'll get that general in it, and yeah, that's going to be completely fine. Do these damaged buildings actually do anything? No. No, that's completely fine then. And yeah, moving on. So, this turn, of course, just taking out a few armies here and there, just sending around some clergy to check out what's going on in the rest of Europe, and not much. The northern wars are still raging, and I don't think we'll actually get to fight the Prussians in this one, or much of the German populace in this one, because they're quite friendly with us, and Bavaria, is quite strong, and unless you want to, like, pile up on the Prussians, I don't really see a reason to do anything with them. In fact, I think it's quite okay, because it basically distracts the entirety of Eastern and Northern Europe, just having to deal with Prussia and its antics. So I think that's completely fine, at least, for my situation, or for our situation, because as it stands right now, we don't necessarily have some sort of big opponent that we want to rally our armies against. And yeah, so I think while the rest of the world fights itself, and while the rest of the European empires are basically bleeding themselves dry, I think I'll just pick up some, just scavenge some provinces that nobody's really invading and that nobody's really interested in at the moment, and that really nobody has any sort of real access to, because even the Barbary states have not a very good navy, but a decent one at least. And yeah, so I think all of this should be, this completely fine. I don't really plan on making any sort of navy this this game at all, so I think all of this should be completely fine. This is actually quite a good one, so maybe instead of that, we could research measuring tools. And these guys can go... So who's doing this little puny school can do that, and these guys, instead of doing that, they can move on to the steam pumped land drainage, just to get some more people within our I know, empire happy and cleanly and stuff like that. So these guys go like there. These guys go like Leopold Joseph Graf von Daun. That's actually quite a neat name, and he's not a bad general, so there we go. You'll be leading our militia forces from now on, dear Joseph. Joseph. That's not quite it, but, you know, whatever. It's good enough. These guys, management, no real... Actually, this guy might be good to the army administration if we ever lose Christian Bach here. Which we probably will, he's quite old at the moment, so... I know, this province quite happy with us, so maybe... we could move slowly towards settler militia. Interesting. Mercenaries, irregulars. Do I just grab a bunch of irregulars just to keep the happiness? 320. 320. Okay, so no real difference there. These guys have a chevron though, so it's still interesting that the settler militia is so expensive and it takes 3 turns to make them. Yeah, definitely upgrade the infrastructure. Okay, so if we move out, how pissed are you? -3, that's actually quite a bit for basically a small province. So we should probably think about just keeping them around for a little while. We can build we want a school. We should probably get a coaching in for the happiness as well as the rakes, because we do really want a lot of spying networks going around. This guy's 25, so he's probably not going to be dying anytime soon. However, it's always nice to have some sort of reassurance that things aren't going to go to complete shit if we ever decide to get rid of him. This guy, think about actually moving him to Palestine. Do we have any sort of other... We should probably actually repair this thing at some point, because it does make a lot of wealth. However, the repair investment sort of 3,000. Bulgaria slowly becoming Catholic. That's very nice. I do have this again. Actually, there's 2 of them here, so one of them could go to Serbia. Just to... How old is he? He's 28 and he has all these stars. Man, this guy is basically very old looking for a 28-year-old. I can tell you that much. But his zeal level is insane, so that's okay. Not really entirely sure what this Polish army here is doing. Are they planning to like outflank me, or what are they war with? Oh, actually, they may be trying to invade the Ottomans or the Barbary states. They don't really have any sort of a navy here, so they're also sending a navy around this way, but that would be interesting. Still, this Hanover navy here. Huh. Prussians, who are they allied with? Nobody. They're at war with half of Europe, basically the entirety of Central and Eastern Europe, apart from the Austrian Empire, which is me. So, this was the AI would probably be dead, because the Austrians would have, the Austrian AI would definitely have invaded them. But, still holding strong, you know, still holding... Well, not necessarily strong. They again lost Königsberg and Warsaw. They still have a decent army there, so we'll just have to see how things pan out. But I think the Prussians still have a bunch of they still can bite quite nicely. They have the Freikorps are actually very good units. So accuracy 20. That doesn't seem right. The Freikorps have very terrible accuracy, but they have a very good range. So we'll just have to see how that goes. However, the Polish also have decent troops there. If they only sent these guys to just Berlin, they would basically win the conflict right then and there. But whatever, you know, it's their army. If they want to do with it some sort of janky stuff, then that's their right. Can you trade with anyone? Portugal? Come on. No. Persia. Yeah, they still want the military alliance. Why would I ever militarily ally myself with Persia? Well, whatever. If they want to trade agreement, military alliance with Persia, they're fighting against the Ottoman. Okay. Yeah, okay. Finally. They finally allied with Persia. So hopefully that increases our our monetary gain quite a bit. Hanover, come on. No. Such a shame. But okay, we're roughly halfway there, so next turn, things don't calm down here, I'll have to start recruiting some militia here and there just to send to Palestine. And then we'll march on Egypt. These guys are... it's going to take them a little while to get to Armenia, but that should be fine. How are the roads here, by the way? Probably completely terrible. No, they're actually okay. Okay, that's upgrading, so that's fine. Okay, so next turn. Not much going on right now in the world. See the Prussians... No, that's the French, of course, that's the French. I was just sort of like awe-stricken by that model of a general. It seemed kind of Prussian, so there we go. The Spanish are sending a bunch of clergy all around the world, and not entirely sure why, and not entirely sure why they're sending one to Rome. I mean, Rome's probably going to be Catholic, you can kind of expect that. With the whole, I don't know, the whole situation there. I don't know, the Polish still dancing around, so we'll just have to see how things go with that situation. The Ottomans scared to move into my territory, and oh my god, the Moroccans completely dumping on the... not dumping, completely ruining the plans of the Ottomans to do anything of substance there, so that's good. The Moroccans, you know, pulling their weight against both the Ottomans and the Spanish at the moment, so that's very nice of them. I should probably get some sort of alliance or trade with them or something, but you know, I'm kind of hoping that they die at the hands of the Spanish just so I can take over that region in a short while, so not entirely sure that's going to be very beneficial to our cause, let's say, so I don't know. Maybe even moving to Georgia, it's going to be an interesting route, but that's going to be, maybe that angers the Russians, don't really want to do anything that's going to be too harmful to our relationship with Russia. Trade route raided by Spain. Well, that's a shame. A suspicious death. How convenient. Okay, well, whatever. They probably have a bunch of rakes around. It was a good general, though. Ah, god damn it. So that just means that we'll just have to ruin the day of the Ottomans a bit more from now on. So -3. Let's get this recruitment campaign going because we really want to take them out. 4,000, not exactly a lot, but it'll have to do. This guy, hopefully he doesn't die, but he shouldn't. Can we slam dunk this guy in there? Probably, maybe? I don't know, but let's move to here, and we'll see what we can do. The Ottomans probably won't launch any sort of invasion there, so let's just go there, and yeah. And let's just bomb gentlemen. How terrible. That's going to be okay for the time being. And yeah, the research is okay. Plus wealth, plus population, plus bayonets. Wealth, this thing. Minus happiness. But that money though, so you know, gotta get that money. Let's get that bread with that research. Kind of wish I had gone into research a bit sooner, but the fact that we were basically in a military engagement from the first like 3 turns with the Ottomans means that, you know, that wasn't very possible. But I think, you know, the situation that we find ourselves in right now means that we're probably one of the strongest forces, strongest powers in the world. Not necessarily due to the fact that we have an insane military, because that's, you know, it's not necessarily the situation here, but we do have a lot of, basically we aren't surrounded by enemies as opposed to like Prussia or maybe even France. Mostly allied forces to the east and even to the north, so that's okay. I'm kind of hoping that that situation doesn't change too radically, because that could pose an issue, but you know, apart from that, that's completely fine. But I'm not saying that I don't trust the Russians or the Polish, or that I trust them more rather, but the AI has a very it has a very big tendency, or a high sort of let's say, big tendency to actually honor the alliances, not necessarily by declaring wars upon anyone that you know, that you're at war with, or by doing anything military-wise, but just the fact that they don't attack you is quite good enough, I think. Sort of an extended non-aggression pact, which I'm completely fine with. I don't necessarily need any sort of assistance, especially by the Polish, who are strained to the brim. Oh, there we go. Oh, the Bavarians almost had Berlin, but turned back. Such a shame. Should have sieged it for a while and waited for the guys to sally out. So who is this guy? That's it's Janissary unit. Let's do something like this. And do I go for Cairo now? Yeah, let's go for Cairo now. I think that's okay. Surrender refused. Armed populace. Okay, don't really want to fight that. Let's get a sort of an auto-resolve. Nice. Completely fine with me. And yeah. This is Ordnance Factory, don't really need to repair that. And these guys, I don't think they can actually do anything, but just to be sure, let's sabotage the army. So that they don't do anything unwarranted, let's say. This army can now march on Armenia, again, unoccupied, free for the taking, very nice. It is damaged though, so it's a bummer. Let's get a church school going, because there's a lot of guys spreading Islam here, even on the Orthodox religions, sort of on a downtick. The Georgians, how do they like me? They don't like me very much. They're war with Russia, so we could take them out, you know, sort of solidify this agreement that we have with Russia about, you know, being friends with each other and stuff. And yes, so the Ottomans have been reduced to a single province and a single army here, which is quite fine. This Persian army here has been sitting there for like 5 years, so I don't really know what they're doing, but it's not looking too interesting at the moment. I'll try and replenish that force over time. These guys have been sabotaged, so that's completely okay. And region captured, Egypt. Are they mad at me? Quite a bit, -5. But I think that's going to be okay. So now we share a border with the Barbary states. How are they doing? We aren't at war with them, so that's nice. But they are hostile towards us, so that's not nice. But apart from that, I think that's okay. Of course, there's still an Ottoman Navy in here. 6th rate. The fact that I don't have a single ship is going to pose quite a big of an annoyance there, but this navy here, Jesus. Once we destroy the Ottomans, I think a lot of our trade will be freed up. Well, maybe not a lot of it, but quite a bit, because right now, basically and virtually all of our trading routes are being raided, which isn't nice, not at all. So this is the only one, and even then, that's being raided here essentially. So that's not nice at all. But I think we'll be fine enough with that. 100. Since these guys were rebelling anyway, might as well just tax them for that, like 300 of income. But yes, so. Took 2 provinces in the same turn. That's fine. Basically, completely annihilated any sort of strength, economic strength that the Ottomans had. I just wish that the Persians would take this out, just so I don't have to bother about it, because that's quite a long way from any sort of region that we have, and especially a long way apart from away from our main army, even from our secondary army here. So I know we'll have to see how things pan out, but. Farming industry, that's a lot of stuff. Only 184 of those, so But since they'll probably... actually, let's just accept them from taxation, just so we get a bit of a boost to the economic growth of that region. Syria, how are you doing? Completely fine. Yep, these guys still hate our guts, but it's grown from 3 to 17. Hey, so that's neat. So in turn, with 6 coins and our golden reserve, let's say, And yeah, so let's wait around, let's see what the Ottomans decide to do, because as it sits right now, they aren't going to be able to do much of anything at all, basically. Short of surrendering and becoming my... Actually, becoming my protectorate, it's something I could do. I could try and make them my protectorate, and sort of just, I don't know, just to ensure the eastern border with the Persians, just so they don't betray us. However, the Persians could invade the Ottomans, but they might as well just invade me at this point, so I don't know. Kind of a peculiar situation, and the Polish like to march throughout all of our lands, basically, which is sort of strange. Not entirely sure what they're up to, but they're thinking of invading, and the last trading route that wasn't damaged now is... Yeah, wonderful. Should have put a militia unit in there, but whatever. The Ottomans are about to be destroyed anyway, so doesn't count, doesn't matter. But at least the AI isn't raiding just that one port that we have in Dalmatia or Croatia, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, that's a big bonus from them, or for them, or rather. And we'll just have to see how things pan out from this point. I think we're going to reach the basically fulfillment of the campaign by roughly 1750 to 60, somewhere around there. So I think we should be completely fine with that. That situation at hand. But Turkzar dies. Doesn't strike Egypt. Yes, we know. -3 and 0. Good. They have enough movement points to go and destroy this single unit, but I don't think we necessarily have to. So, Armenia, yep, who died? It seems that nobody of any sort of importance. That's okay. These guys -4, even though we are exempting them from tax, so they should be rebelling very soon. Let's repair that. And, no, still not enough. okay, I see how it is. This church school should improve the situation a little bit. Not by much, of course, not by any sort of substantial margin, but still something, I guess. This army, 3 Arab mercenaries against 1 unit of irregulars. That's going to be an interesting fight, but let's not think about it right now. This army, if we move it out, how angry are they? -9, Jesus, so we have to really stand around here for quite a while then. This, okay. So the next plan of action, the soonest plan of action is to take out Baghdad with its small army here, even though they do have that big old artillery piece, range 800, and wow. Then, move on through to Tripolitania, or Tripolitanum or rather, then Tunis, and finally Algiers. Have to really hunker down at this region, because I do expect a lot of Spanish fleets and invasions will be going through here, but I think it's going to be okay. And then, on to Morocco, whether it's held by the Spanish or the Moroccans, I think that should be fine. Don't really necessarily need that, so let's go to grape shot, not good. Anything that's trade related, no, okay. Pointless. This minus happiness, minus happiness. Cultural buildings though. So maybe utilitarianism will be okay. And then we'll see. That's a lot of ships. That's a lot of ships. Everything is expensive, of course, so no luck with that. These guys should be slowly turning to Catholicism. Yes, they are. These guys, very much so. Okay. That's nice. Why are the Polish sending troops here? I wonder. Truly do. Let's move that rake to Hanover. Berlin's free for the taking, so if this army wanted to take it, they would have basically no opposition. This army is probably very beaten up. Let's check that out. Infiltrate. Agent executed. Wonderful. Wonderful. Do they hate me now? Just a little bit. Indifferent. Okay. That'll improve over time. And want to check the Ottomans if they would request peace and become protectorate and trade agreement. No. Well, you're dead then, so it's your choice. Really don't care about that too much. I think they'll probably accept peace almost immediately. Let's just try with peace and a protectorate status. No. Well, you can get stuff then. I'm not paying you a single cent for peace and, you know, protectorship, so we just have to wait around for like 3 turns extra. But I really want to take them out, just because they're probably going to declare war on me very soon, and the Persians aren't doing anything about them, so I don't know. And the moment we attack the Barbary states, they're gonna get pulled into the war anyway, so might as well just ruin their day right now and take them out right away. The Prussians still have quite a lot of armies, wiping out that small contingent right there, so... But Danzig is now back in the... or Dansk, or rather, is back in Polish hands, so the front line, you know, slowly receding, but we already saw a big old comeback from the Prussians beforehand when they took half of Poland after being driven back to essentially only Berlin, so we'll have to see how things pan out, but yeah, I think the Prussians might be losing this one. It's quite a shame, you know, at last it's been raging from turn 1, from year 1, or 1701, let's say, or the 1700. The year 1700, and it's lasted almost 40 years, so that's quite a war. That's quite a war. Almost, you know, if they could go a little bit, just a tiny bit further, they could make the 50 Years' War, which would be quite interesting. 50 Years' War. But oh yeah, the Russians getting beaten by the Georgians. The Georgians have 2 full stacks there. So that's interesting, I guess. Go. Then we have a small church school there. Mission successful. Okay. Doing what exactly? British Army. Mission successful. Nice. Workers riot. I just rebuilt this place and they're already rioting. How wonderful is that? Iron workshop. Craft workshop. Could finally rebuild that. But, you know, who cares really? These guys, -8, is slowly but surely moving towards something interesting. They have some sort of, yeah, let's make the church school building. These guys have to essentially stay in there, so it's a bit of a bummer, but what can you do? Let's take this army out. Victory, wow. And they're out of range. Brilliant, but what can you do? These guys still angry, these guys still angry, but you know, it's 27 now, so hey, that's progress. Cotton here, really, in Albab Plantation. Okay. So let's upgrade this. School, can we rebuild? Yes, we finally can rebuild this workshop, so let's do that. And out of money again. Everything's so expensive in this mod. It's insane. Not to mention we don't have any sort of access to the trading ports here, which are basically the main resource of wealth, or the Americas, which, yeah, this province here is probably the richest region in the entire game, so that's it's kind of a shame, but hey, what can you do? What can you do? We're sort of slowly but surely expanding the good old ways of I don't know, taking over the Middle East. I guess that's one way of going about it. And the Persians finally bring up some sort of interesting force here, so we'll have to see how they handle the situation. And hopefully they handle it for us. Okay, so we'll face a rebellion here. That's sort of imminent, I guess. And we can slowly but surely move this agent over here. Actually, I don't know if it's worth it, because when the Ottomans fall, that rake is going to be pointless there. But the Georgians have again these irregular units with a range of 150. I should have expected that going into the Middle East. Oh, there's the Caucasus, but still. No wonder the Russians got annihilated. All of their units are 150 irregulars. These are skirmishers even, which have the almost the exact same stats as the irregulars, but have one less melee defense. Wow, and one more morale. Truly a statistical wonder, and their general is a regular European general. Wonderful, indeed. Truly amazing. So we'll have to take out that rebellion in Armenia, which should be fine. Hopefully it's like a full stack of elite troops with like I don't know what, but yeah, even if it is, then whatever. French still going around messing. I don't know. Are the French at war with anyone? I don't think so. I haven't seen them do anything. Which is quite strange, because the French are like one of the top 3 to 4 military powers in this game, of course behind Britain, but you know, ahead of Spain and let's say Prussia. And Berlin is done. The Polish have taken Berlin. Finally, it's taken them so long. It's lasted 37 years, but finally they've taken Berlin after losing Warsaw just a few years ago. So I don't know. They basically had to have the support of Russia, support of Denmark, Bavaria, Sweden, basically everyone, just to be able to take down Berlin. So that's, you know, if you wanted to know if the Prussians were OP in this game, then that's the answer. And the Persians finally moving their forces towards Baghdad. So we'll have to see how that they handle the military conflict there. Hopefully they finish it and we don't have to bother about the Ottomans anymore and can safely move on to Africa. But I have a feeling that they will probably mess up the situation altogether, so I don't know. Bavarians, you know, it's a shame they didn't get to grab hold of Berlin, because that would mean that the Polish weren't as powerful, but you know, there's still a big chance that the Prussians actually rebel. So there we go. Again, Armenian rebels. This should be easy fight, hopefully. Yeah, ultra-result victory. Almost dead. And now they're dead. Lost 36 men in that second engagement. How terrible. True loss of life right there. These, this is fairly okay, so let's rebuild that. Should start making some sort of an... yeah, also let's rebuild that. These guys, they did go down here, so they probably are messing stuff up here, which is minus happiness. Okay. Naples. The fact that we built up so many churches. Actually, this is the last one, right? Yeah, doesn't actually do anything. Such a shame. Don't necessarily need a new one. But send this guy, I don't know, to... oh, we can't cross this. Why not? Oh, because the Spanish are here, of course. Okay then, Spanish. Third-rate ship of the line. Jesus, Spain. Well, it's almost, you know, the 1750s, but still, ugh. Those are very good ships you got there. Okay, so let's move on to there. These guys in the middle of the desert. That's a very beautiful position to be in, but yeah, and our money again is completely gone. So let's move these guys. Still, Catholicism not being dominant, that's not good enough. These 3,000, that's very expensive, mate. Okay, let's unexempt them from taxation just so we get a bit more money. And let's move this rake here. Slowly but surely, these guys can get back inside after replenishing. Yep. And yeah, so that's the turn. Not much happening right now. Just sort of chilling around. Hopefully the citizens of Berlin managed to rebel, or at least do something there just to make the Polish and everyone else just a bit more busy. That situation, that would be very nice indeed. But I don't think if the AI really does that. Not sure if I haven't actually. I think I've seen it, but when like a rebel force takes over, I think it just goes to our rebel force. Doesn't actually go back to like whoever was the owner beforehand. Like this would be obviously Prussia, but I'm not sure if it works that way. Maybe it just the Russians trying to take out Georgia, still failing against a bunch of irregulars who are incredibly overpowered in this mod, so that's a shame. The Marathons on a warpath, completely dominating India. Well, they're about to dominate the Indian part of modern day India anyway, so that's interesting. The Mughal Empire of the old Timurid dynasty slowly losing its power. Actually playing as a Timurids could be an interesting, not Timurids, the Mughals could be an interesting campaign. I've never actually played as them, so that's something to consider. And this is, oh, they actually have a school here. How quaint. Separation of powers, and why does that make you unhappy? I don't know. I don't understand this game. Let's make them do that. Construction completed. Very nice. Agents here. Oh my god, look at that zeal. Jesus. 29 again. Look at this. That's so good. That's so good. So these guys should be happy. What if we take out like half the army? Okay. What if we take out these guys as well? Okay, I see what you're up to. What if we take out like almost everyone? You're -3, so 1, 2, 3, -1. Send in one guy. Still -1, so I guess militia just isn't as good. Comes to repression, so we now have a full half-stack army, which could potentially march on Baghdad. That would be very neat indeed. That's okay. That's very much okay. I like how all the nations or all the cities that I've conquered just have these ordnance factories that are burning, because I don't really consider them worth the effort. Like even 1,000, never gonna build a single cannon in this campaign. It's not gonna be worth it. Oh, these guys are actually rioting. Workers instruct Egypt. That's to be expected. Armenia, but the Hungarians are angry. That's neat. Let's build something to make them happier. And what if we lower taxation just nationwide? Does it affect 1,000 something? But let's keep the people happy, I guess. Does that mean that we can now take out -8? Ugh. Not good enough. Baghdad. Doesn't mean that we can now take out these guys. No. Shame. Ugh. That's annoying. I think maybe now we could get rid of all these church schools, because it's almost, yeah, it's almost 100% Catholic, so Let's burn this one down. Next turn we can build up something there. We can build up something to gain money, actually. That would be very beneficial. This is again a church school, I think in Egypt. In Egypt. In Egypt we actually will be building that one up because it's only 4% right now, so that's annoying. Hungarians actually revolting. And they're also having an uprising. Maybe if we just move this unit here. That's mostly due to the research that we've done. But lowering taxation is much, it's very much worth, you know, all the other bonuses that you get from that. So I think it's fine. This army, could it take on? Probably not. We'll have to build something up here. I really do not want to move these guys because, for one, we can actually tax Cairo. For two, don't really want to bring him back all the way to Egypt then again. So could get some African Askari line infantry after this, which is very neat. So we'll be doing that, even though they're worse than the settler militia. Jesus Christ, but they're cheaper. They're line infantry, so they can do fire by rank technically. So yeah, I mean definitely doing that. Fire by rank is OP. So actually, I think they can do fire by rank. I'm almost completely certain that they can. I know that the colonial troops in from not the colonial troops, but like the company troops, the colonial troops, the European company, something troops in India can do fire by rank, so hopefully the North African guys can also do fire by rank. That would be neat. The Polish now have essentially a free hand. They can do anything in Northern Europe. They hold basically all of the richest cities there, so that'll be interesting to see. I'm really hoping the Persians do something. They sent that army there like 3 turns ago and it did nothing. Really do not want to get involved in that. It's so annoying. Because like the province, the last Ottoman province is in the middle of nowhere. It's not going to benefit me in the least when I capture it. Apart from getting rid of the Ottomans, of course, so I don't know. And the Marathons, finally capturing that. Hopefully the Marathons don't go after Persia. That would be incredibly annoying. Just to have to support them, and then eventually having Maratha on our borders. And the Marathons aren't actually that weak, and now that they're going to capture all of India, yeah, it's going to make them very strong. So, the Georgians. Quite the warpath of Georgia. 2 full stack armies though, that's insane. Technological advance. And yeah, I suppose we can let the technologies just sort themselves out. This is, yeah, that's the Reichsarmee thing. This guy's completely happy. These guys happy a little bit. Let's check out what the Ottomans actually have here. Movement range, it probably, yeah, the infrastructure sucks. Ugh, of course. How unexpected. Accept them. Yeah, still angry. Infrastructure, how's the infrastructure in Armenia? Yeah, it sucks as well. 3,000 for that, jeez. Okay, so let's start recruiting the African units here. 3 turns again. That's just, like, I don't know what to say. Imperial line infantry. Start recruiting these guys so we can eventually leave this province. Let's see, -7, so if we take out all the militia. Yeah, that's militia. Reichsarmee. Linen infantry. That's -5. So we have to have like 5 units there, keeping regular watch. This is going to be a big old bother. Just trying to maintain some sort of, I don't know, something. If we send just this army, it's going to get completely shredded by the army in Baghdad, because they're long range. These guys are just militia units, so they're not gonna have any sort of a real advantage. So now let's just pop them in for the time being. Maybe just wait for Armenia to calm down really, and then do something, because as it stands right now, we don't have any sort of chance in hell to do anything there. Yeah, still didn't build anything there. Such a shame. Well, maybe we should actually, just instead of one of these troops. Let's build this up. And I think that should be okay. Yeah, in the meantime, let's go there. Okay, so this is taking quite a long time to finish off the Ottomans, and I really wish the Persians would just do it. Like this, they're so annoying. Ugh. Really need to get army board as well. We need, what do we need for that? Nothing. Can we get it right now? That would be interesting. Army board, yes we can, 8,000. Hey, how cheap is that? That's a bargain. 8,000. Ugh. I don't know. The French still just dancing around, doing nothing, as per usual. And then the Persian AI has been a big disappointment this game, as well as the Spanish one. Haven't taken out Morocco yet at all. Yeah. Okay, so I think after this turn ends, after this sort of AI dancing around ends, that's going to be it for this episode. Basically, you saw what happened. We took two provinces, now we have to wait around for them to calm down, just so we can take out the forces and move them towards the Ottomans. But still, you know, it's a big ol' headache, that's what I'm saying. Is this non-European, non-North America gameplay, also non-Indian. Basically, the Middle Eastern campaigns in Imperial War always end up in this situation where you move in, and the province is so unhappy because of the religious differences. In Europe, of course, you have the Catholic and Protestant divide. They usually tend to be, because the cultural differences aren't so pronounced, tend to be okay with that. Like, you know, Catholic, Protestant, they, you know, they want to cut your head off in this time period for, you know, not following the same thing. But, well, I mean, like, not in this time period, of course, like the 100 years previously we had the 30 Years War, but, you know what I mean. During this period, it was more imperial than religious conquest, so there we go. But in the Middle East in this game, that's just bothersome. That's so bothersome too. And there was the Prussian rebellion, completely crushed. New port emerges. Nice. Let's get local fishery. Yeah, the fisheries are okay. Construction report. That's nice. These guys ready to get taken out. -3. Come on. Come on. -1. Let's just build a bunch of irregulars. I think it's now time. Yeah, it's time. Let's just go down there. Let's take them out. And they'll be dead. This army, Jesus Christ. You could have at least tried. Like, Jesus, man. Jesus, man. So disappointing. So disappointing. They didn't even try. How stupid is that? Ugh, these guys, firmly Catholic, yes they are, that's nice. Still gonna keep them around for a little bit, these guys still Orthodox. So, yeah, these Polish armies, I don't know what they're doing, but it doesn't look very nice of them, that's for sure. But okay. Naval Board Ordnance Factory. You can see how much I care about those things. Income still 4,000. What if we increase the taxes now? Still Hungary is angry. Hungary is angry, more than the Middle Easterners in fact, so that's strange. Very strange. So what if we take out this army then? How angry are they? -6. So it's slowly decreasing over time. That's going to be nice, of course, with with this and with this, that's not going to be nice at all. But hopefully at some point we'll manage to just do something with that. It's not going to be completely terrible. So when we research this, we'll be able to finally get some nice light infantry things, but I don't think we need them at this point. We're doing just fine without it. So this army here, hopefully it completely annihilates any sort of force that has that's in Baghdad. But I think I'll leave that to next for next episode. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.